let me just say something, Blake. There's only one person who's ever suffered for your sins, okay? And it's not fucking Justin Baldoni. All right? You're not going to get a Garden of Gethsemane moment out of this guy, okay? You're not that powerful, bitch. Stand down. Well. We are back.
Well. I feel like I am prisoner 24601 in the Blake versus Justin experience because I did not think we were going to need a part 6.
Mm-hmm.
It continues to amaze me that new information is coming out and that this saga continues to unfold.
When Blake's floral outfit explosion extravaganza happened, we didn't know we were stealing a piece of bread from a priest or whatever it was that Jean Valjean did. And we would be in a state of, it ends with us fucking purgatory.
Purgatory.
Shackles.
Like, I just feel like my brain right now, it's like my wedding, my bachelorette, my own life, my job, and then it's Blake and Justin. And I'm excited to record this, but I'm also just kind of in shock that we still have new information. And so there's stuff to get into.
Without further ado, everyone, what we want to do is go through all of the developments, the things that have happened, the news pieces, just tie up some loose ends that we didn't get to in part 5. That way, we can just make sure we wrap a bow on part 6 and then maybe take a beat on this. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially not, because apparently she is filing an amended complaint of her own on Chandler February 17th, which is just 5
How many days?
5 days. So I guess, there's no break.
There's no break. Also, everyone, I have jury duty starting tomorrow.
So you're going to be working the weekend.
I'm going to be working the weekends. We don't need any more intro. Let's get into it.
Okay. So one of the things that I think it's important to really kind of like go back and discuss is the WME sabotaging. Okay.
Yes. And WME, for people who don't know, is like the talent agency. They basically rep everyone in Hollywood.
Anyone who's anyone. It was so funny when we had a viral moment with this whole Kate Middleton thing a year ago. They really came after us and like were emailing us, really wanting a meeting. Finally, like we did the meeting with them. And then like a few weeks later, we basically just got the message that like, you actually are not the star. Yeah. You're not good enough.
You know what? Thanks so much for the meeting, but not quite yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly. But we do have to talk about people who are stars enough to be part of WME's esteemed canon of artists or catalog or whatever you want to say. And that is Justin Baldoni at one point, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, who are currently with WME. So we all remember how Ryan Reynolds said to a colleague at an industry event that why is WME repping a sexual predator?
A sexual predator.
Referring to Justin Baldoni.
Which is like, I think that's a fucking crazy thing to accuse somebody of. I think it's like, a creep or like, I don't know, but a sexual predator is just like very intense language.
It is indeed. And what we also did not know is that he called Justin a deranged predator on July 15th to another WME agent. This is according to the timeline, and said that he should not attend the premiere, said that they did not want that deranged predator at the premiere. And he expressed deep disdain for him. And it was a few months later that Justin gets dropped by WME.
So, and also just to ground everybody, we are still reading from the timeline that was launched by Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer.
We're bouncing. We have news pieces of information. We have commentary from other people I want to get into. We're kind of bouncing around.
We're bouncing, but this part in particular is from the timeline.
Correct. So Ryan is shit-talking Justin, calling him a deranged predator, calling him a sexual predator. This is in July. And then Ryan and Blake go to WME. This is before they have dropped him, which will come in December, but they go to WME on August 12th, and they say that they are furious for the way that Wayfair and Justin are positioning them as promoting the film as a, quote, Barbie film, while elevating Justin to speak on the more serious messaging. Ryan and Blake demanded that Wayfair release a statement of contrition, taking accountability for the negative press toward Blake and Ryan. They warned WME that absent compliance, quote, the gloves will come off. So I think we should read the statement of contrition that they wanted Justin and Wayfair to release.
Really quick. Basically, though, Blake and Ryan are upset because like the way that they're promoting the movie looks unserious.
Exactly. Yeah. They're upset in the way that I think everyone is like responding to Blake's promotion. And so they want WME to, I guess, do some damage control and force Justin to essentially put out this bullshit statement. So it looks like it's actually his fault that
there's bad press.
Right.
And I think too, they're like using the fact that they're both repped by WME to like strong arm the agency into, you know, forcing Justin to do something.
Right. Okay. So do you want me to read the statement or do you want to?
Please read it.
Okay. So this is the statement that Blake and Ryan drafted for Justin, Jamie Heath, and Wayfair to release. It was never released, obviously, but this is what they wanted Justin to say. Quote, "It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. We have always said we are not perfect, and even if we have unintentionally made mistakes, we will always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being, quote, man enough. We will practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience, and we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received with. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing that off screen. Thank you to the cast and crew and public for the opportunity to be imperfect and to be given the space to learn and grow with humanity and dedication."
Hallelujah and amen. Okay. Oh my God. I am floored by that. My biggest issue, and the thing that is the most insane, is the part where it says we take full accountability for any bad press.
Yeah.
Wayfair is not telling Blake to be like a bitch in interviews.
No, there's no reason why Justin Baldoni, Wayfair, and Jamie Heath should be putting out a statement that says any bad press is ours to own, and Blake Lively has conducted herself with ultimate professionalism.
I know, actually, Blake Lively was not handed a script by Justin and Wayfair saying that when you go into interviews, you should be snarky. You should, you know, use the wrong tone when talking about a movie about domestic violence. Like, it's beyond comprehension.
Let me just say something, Blake. There's only one person who's ever suffered for your sins, okay? And it's not fucking Justin Baldoni. All right? You're not going to get a Garden of Gethsemane moment out of this guy, okay? You're not that powerful, bitch. Stand the fuck down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We were raised religious. You can't tell.
Okay. So no, Justin refuses to have his own walk on the road to Calvary. And that is when he essentially lawyers up. So there's a text exchange between Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan. And Jennifer Abel says, Blake and Ryan want Justin to put out a statement. This is unbelievable. Melissa Nathan says, call me if you can. This will be a career killer for them and Wayfair. They have to fight it. Jennifer says, this is so crazy. Melissa says they have to lawyer up now. Honestly, I've never had anything like it. Can we please hire him a lawyer? Jennifer says he needs to. He has one, but he needs a litigator. And then Melissa Nathan says, get Brian Friedman. He's waiting and will also take on WME. I mean, Brian Friedman is incredible.
I don't really know much about Brian Friedman pre-Justin Baldoni. Like, I know that he's a Hollywood lawyer guy, and I know he represented somebody else famous that would jog my memory. But I mean, yeah, his whole strategy throughout this PR nightmare and legal drama has been crazy. I mean, even just the fact that the website was launched prior to the judge's order to, you know, not have either side speak about things was so smart.
Well, I think that's one of the great things about being an attorney. Not that I am one, but an attorney really is almost like a police officer. It's like someone when you are in dire need and like one of the worst things that could ever happen to you is about to happen to you, that is someone who is an officer of the court or an officer of the law who can literally protect you. And that is what Brian Friedman says he wants. That is his purpose.
Right.
It's to vindicate Justin in the eyes of the public and get him justice. And getting an incredible attorney who can take on a behemoth like WME.
Yeah.
That is what Justin needed. And I'm sorry, but Brian Friedman, this has been a masterclass in defending a client.
Yeah, and I think mobilizing evidence and getting it into the hands of the public so that they can make their own conclusions, which they clearly have.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's get back to more developments. I mean, wow, what a banger is that statement.
That is so crazy.
Come out.
Do we know how they were able to did they just say, no, we're not saying that?
Yeah, and they refused.
Yeah.
So the ante gets upped in every way.
Lauren, you and I both have a trip coming up where we are wanting to look our best. Thank goodness we have Clean Simple Eats.
I had a scoop of the Simply Vanilla this morning, just mixed with cold water. I swear, everyone, it tasted like melted ice cream. It's so good, and it gives you the cleanest energy. It feels amazing. It's 20 grams of clean grass-fed protein. I'm so obsessed with Clean Simple Eats protein powder. I'm so grateful they're a sponsor.
Everyone, go to cleansimpleeats.com, use our code POPAPOLOGIST for 10% off. We love their clear protein, we love their Simply Vanilla chocolate brownie batter, and their new unflavored protein powder that can go into anything.
You guys, Clean Simple Eats is the way to get the protein that you need. And we all know that getting a lot of protein in is the key to building muscle mass, to maintaining your vigor, your youth, your vitality.
Yes.
And the way to do that is with Clean Simple Eats and using our code, bitches. Love ya.
POPAPOLOGIST for 10% off.
CleanSimpleEats.com.
Lauren, so a friend was telling me the other day how much she loves the early bird tincture. She says it's like the best night's sleep of her life, and that's a very like subtle feeling.
Okay, I need to try the tincture. I've only tried the gummies. You know I'm obsessed with the gummies. I've turned on so many friends to them. I feel like what's special about Early Bird is the formulation. It's 12.5 milligrams CBD, 2.5 milligrams THC. So it just makes you feel so warm and melty, relaxed, gooey.
Yeah, I feel like there's no worry that I'm going to be too in my head. It's just cozy, and it's just an easy way to take the edge off and have the most amazing night's sleep.
You guys, if you have not tried Early Bird gummies, they're a life changer. And honestly, the bottle is big. It lasts a long time. Go to earlybirdcbd.com. Use code POP20 for 20% off. A big discount.
Huge discount.
earlybirdcbd.com. Use code POP20 for 20% off. The other thing that we haven't really touched on is the fact that the New York Times was given Blake's complaint before it was legally filed. And what that really shows is that there was this collusion, right?
Collusion. So like basically they were working together behind the scenes to orchestrate this moment.
They were
in bed together, as the euphemism goes.
They were in bed together for all intents and purposes, but not literally.
But it was like a situation where it wasn't like Blake filed this legal complaint and, did it in the formal way and then handed it to the New York Times. It was like, I'm filing this complaint. I'm giving you the heads up. We are working together to make sure that our stories are straight.
Exactly. And I was confused too when I first saw this, because I'm like, what does this mean? But no, that's exactly what it is. It's not like she filed the complaint and then a journalist was like, oh my gosh, Blake Lively filed this. What's happening? It's like, no, they had all the information, allegedly, according to the internet sleuth, well before it was filed. That way they could prepare the article and all the content. I mean, we know how much work content takes.
Sure.
So they could be ready to drop all the content, the reels, the social media assets, the article. They could drop it the same day. That way they could blast Justin Baldoni immediately.
Which I think undermines like the idea of the journalism behind it. It's a hit piece.
Exactly. So this is a quote from Brian Friedman in a statement to Variety. He says, "This fresh evidence corroborates what we knew all along, that due to purely egotistical reasons, Miss Lively and her entire team colluded for months to destroy reputations through a complex web of lies, false accusations, and the manipulation of illicitly received communications."
Wow.
Okay, so now we need to get to the hearing.
The hearing, like present day.
So on February 3rd, there was the preliminary court hearing. This was just a few days ago. And as we all know, Blake's attorney requested that Brian Friedman be given a gag order so he'll stop going on TMZ and stop talking to Entertainment Tonight and stop talking to Variety and stop trying to muddy the jury pool.
Yeah.
And they also requested that Brian Friedman not depose Blake Lively. So that is apparently a very unique request. You're generally not allowed to say like, oh, I'm sorry, but I just won't be deposed by the other side's primary counsel.
Yeah.
So the outcome of the hearing is that the judge did not grant the gag order, but he did impose the Empire State Rule on both parties.
Cue the Jay-Z song. Like, what is that? What is the Empire State Rule?
The Empire State Rule basically means that neither side is supposed to talk to the press about this. And
So what's the difference between that and a gag order?
I think the gag order would have been a clear win for Blake Lively's side. And it's like Brian Friedman needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, got it.
But what this is, and this is what judges are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to be fair to both sides. So instead, his ruling is no, I'm not going to give Brian Friedman a gag order. I'm going to instruct both sides to not talk to the press.
Because in theory, if he had agreed to the gag order or like, instated it, then Blake Lively could have still talked.
Right.
Got it.
Her team could have still talked.
Yes.
Exactly. So it is truly, I think, such a stroke of luck for us, the internet humanity, Justin Baldoni, that they did drop that website before this hearing.
Right now, I'm being Judge Lyman as the scales of justice.
Yes.
Like fair to both sides. Lady Justice. I don't know. It's this thing.
A visualization is so important. So thank you. That was beautiful.
So February 5th, 2 days after the hearing, another lawsuit is dropped on Blake. And this is from Jed Wallace, who is a crisis PR executive. So he is suing Blake for defamation after she named him in her December civil rights complaint. She alleges that Jed led a digital strategy to amplify social media posts in Justin's favor as part of an online smear campaign against her. Basically, I think she said that he was like behind all the bots, or all the digital accounts, all the hate comments online. So he filed a $7 million defamation lawsuit claiming that Blake falsely accused him.
Yeah. And he says he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So he filed a $7 million defamation lawsuit claiming Blake falsely accused him of involvement in a retaliatory campaign and that, no contract ever existed between them. I think what he's saying is between himself and Justin's team.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So just had to touch on that, give Jed Wallace his moment on our series.
Yeah.
I also just think on this Jed Wallace thing, it just goes to show the lack of scruples. It's like
scruples. Speak more on that. I don't know what scruples mean.
Morality,
Scrupulosity?
integrity. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're just going to throw in this guy as a defendant. We're going to accuse him of launching bots against us. And we don't really care if it's true or not.
Yeah.
We're just going to do it because we're powerful.
It's just kind of like everyone in the kitchen sink.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Now I believe it is important that we discuss how Taylor Swift plays into all of this and the news that has come out about her feelings about all of this.
Which is pretty crazy because I feel like last week we discussed, that some of the reports, some of the Daily Mail was a total farce,
Yeah. So Dumois said that they're still tight as ever.
Yeah. Because if you'll remember, there was that Daily Mail article that was like, Taylor Swift is taking a step back. And when we talked to Dumois, she was like, no, Daily Mail's not the trusted outlet for Taylor's team. Don't believe that.
Yeah. So TMZ released a video and I found what they said to be they were extremely convicted in their sources. And this is what they say is actually happening behind the scenes. So they say that Taylor is reportedly absolutely furious about the characterization of her as one of Blake's dragons. Okay. Like
gorgeous monster as well.
Taylor has cultivated and truly is a nice girl. She has a nice girl image. Did you see the video of her like tipping the Grammys workers at the stadium?
I did not catch that. But yes, her image is not mean girl. It is in fact like the opposite of that.
This is actually quite costly for her.
Yeah, it's very damaging as Blake Lively has been one of her very public best friends to have that person then say like behind the scenes, she's actually, terrifying bully and monster and someone who's ready to attack on Blake's behalf.
Exactly. So They also say that she feels used, like deeply used. And what they say is that she had no idea Justin Baldoni was going to be there at the penthouse when she arrived. And she thinks Blake manipulated the situation so that she invited her over, but knowing she would cross paths with Justin to signal a message like, hey, this is my bestie.
Right.
And apparently, this is according to TMZ, but Taylor did not say anything about the rooftop scene. All she said was, I hope the movie goes well. There was no like collusion between Taylor and Blake. Like, hey, when you come, also say, you got to put in Blake's rooftop scene. She did such a good job on the rewrite.
But what does that mean for Justin's side of things? Because Justin says in his messages to Blake, like, I would have complimented your pages or something like that without Taylor.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because did he say that Taylor specifically praised Blake's rewrite?
Yeah, I think he basically does. I think that he says that, you know, he would have complimented or appreciated Blake's work and he didn't need Taylor to join in on that, Taylor and Ryan.
And I think I could see a world where maybe Ryan brought up the rooftop scene.
Yeah.
And Taylor's like, oh yeah, I read it and it was so good. But I don't know.
That part is fuzzy for me.
It is a little fuzzy. So if anyone has the Ring camera footage or whatever, the security footage of that meeting, would love to see it.
Also, once again, I can't really see Taylor, like, she's in the middle of the Eras tour, all this stuff. I can't really see her being like sitting down to read the rooftop scene. That to me feels like kind of far-fetched that I think she's actually like has the time to do that.
I think Taylor would.
Okay.
I just don't think she has the time to scheme and conspire to arrive at the apartment to pressure him.
To strategize.
Right. Okay, another thing that TMZ says, and this is where like I do think it's worth reporting on this because these are very specific nuggets, but they say that Blake told the actress who plays young Lily that Taylor had a hand in casting her.
Oh, wow.
And that she was Taylor's choice. And Taylor apparently had no clue about this casting decision, which would be a reason why that Isabel Ferrer would be allegiant to Blake. It's like, I want to be on the team with Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Mother effing Swift, who chose me.
I was hand selected by literally Mother God.
Exactly.
That's super weird. Also, like, in what part of this production was Taylor ever involved in casting conversations? Like, wouldn't that have been like the Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni side of things? That seems super weird to me.
Also, in theory, Blake would not be involved in the casting decisions.
Right. That's pretty crazy. And I would be so annoyed if I were Taylor and if half of this were true, I would just feel so used. Like TMZ said.
So used in just like my reputation, which I had just spent so much time being so careful about, had been really a wrecking ball had been taken to it overnight. And now Taylor and Tree, they have to pick up the pieces and rebuild.
Right.
Okay, but a source told Entertainment Tonight, which is what Dumois said is Tree's preferred outlet, that they are still friends, but she just wants to remain uninvolved. However, she was not at the Super Bowl. So,
I mean, I think there might be distance happening on purpose. She might still consider Blake to be one of her friends. She could be feeling all of these things,
yeah,
you know, and still consider Blake to be someone she wants to keep in her life, but she wants to just be completely hands off. She's not coming to Blake's defense at all.
She's not coming to Blake's defense. She's not doing a pap walk. They're not getting Via Carota together. I do think that there's a world where she's really upset with her, but in a way where it's like, I'm really upset with my friend. This is a lifelong friend. I know we'll get past this, but like I might need a 6-month break from this person.
Yeah. And also her career, it's not like they're both just like A-listers and there are stakes to Taylor like publicly coming to Blake's defense.
Of course, yes.
You know, that she has to be aware of. And that's just like the nature of two A-listers being friends.
It's interesting. Meghan Markle asked Taylor Swift to come on her podcast.
Yeah.
And she did not. And I do think that Taylor obviously is very strategic about not getting in controversial waters.
Right.
You know, she likes to not be a part of controversial narratives.
Totally.
Okay, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but a brief announcement. We have a very exciting subscriber episode for our global elites this week. We are debriefing Chandler's Bachelorette to St. Bart's, and we have none other than the global elite, Courtney Grow, our dear sister, joining us. We get cozy on my sectional and relive the entire weekend together, minute by minute, moment by moment. It might honestly be more information than you ever asked for. This episode is so fun. So if you want to hear about Chandler's wild weekend in St. Bart's and you want to hear the three of us gab, you got to become a global elite and subscribe to the exclusive Friday episodes. You can find them anywhere you listen to podcasts: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Substack, Patreon, YouTube members. It is there for you to enjoy, and very exciting to have the one and only Courtney Grow joining for this very, very special sentimental episode. So give it a listen. Love you guys. And now back to the episode.
There's this TikTok creator who's been doing an amazing job deep diving all of this. His handle is Be Better Company. And anyway, it's very fascinating because some very suspicious things have happened to some of his videos.
Well, one of his videos. So he put out a video and he said he had inside information on something that was going to happen in Blake and Ryan's case. And then the video was removed in the United States, which just goes to show that Blake and Ryan, what he says is that they have connections with TikTok US.
Yeah.
That they can, in theory, get content removed that they say should be removed.
And do we know anything about what that alleged information was?
We do.
Okay, please share.
And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. So my source has told me that Lively's legal team is allegedly attempting to amend their filing and add Jenny Slate as a plaintiff to the lawsuit. But Jenny Slate allegedly does not want to be involved in this mess at all. And if she rejects their offer to be made an actual plaintiff in the case, which seems likely, they're likely going to subpoena her anyway and just include her testimony or her as evidence because she allegedly has had some very bad experiences with Justin Baldoni in regard to harassment or being made to feel uncomfortable on set. I think at this point, Lively's team very strongly believes that if they're able to add more women officially to the lawsuit, that the claims will look more legitimate. But at this point, I don't think Jenny Slate or anyone else on the cast really wants to jump aboard the Plantation Khaleesi's yacht that seems to be sinking rather quickly.
Wow.
Is that not wild?
So that to me is total tea, first of all, because we have been dying for, anything from these other cast members, from Jenny Slate most of all, maybe.
Right, exactly. We've been dying for like third-party information, witnesses, what did you guys see? And if that is their strategy to add other female members of the cast, and if they can convince them to join as plaintiffs, I just think that this could ramp up. This is like, I almost feel like we're talking about like nuclear buttons here.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Chan. Sometimes life gets a little complicated. Meet Lainey, played by Amy Schumer, who's got a problem. Her best friend is pregnant, and Lainey's feeling a little left behind. So she decides to take matters into her own hands and fakes being pregnant herself. Kinda Pregnant takes a sharp and funny look at the messiness of life and the lies we tell, whether it's to impress someone, protect a friendship, or just to keep up. Kinda Pregnant doesn't shy away from the truth and is about so much more than just a fake pregnancy. It's about the ups and downs of relationships, the challenges we face as women, and the moments when we get caught up in something we never intended to. It's real, it's funny, and it's refreshingly honest. Set in New York City, the film brings the city's energy to life, capturing the vibe of iconic spots like Central Park and the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, all while exploring the complex dynamics of female friendships. With a stellar cast, including Will Forte, Jillian Bell, Brienne Howie, and Damon Wayans Jr., in addition to Amy Schumer, Kinda Pregnant is a comedy that'll make you laugh, but will also make you feel so ready to hug all your best girlfriends. Watch Kinda Pregnant, now playing only on Netflix.
If Jenny Slate has had negative experiences with Justin Baldoni of a sexual harassment nature, this whole case unravels.
Right.
And the whole thing, it is nuclear. It literally unravels, and we will atone.
It will absolutely unravel. I did not get, though, that she felt sexually harassed by him. I got that she just, like, something was weird or uncomfortable, and maybe that was, like, the woo-woo stuff.
Yeah. Or, he also made that comment about her nose.
Yes.
Like, maybe she didn't like the guy.
Right. Totally.
But I think it is, I don't know. It's hard to say, just because she doesn't want to come forward, it doesn't mean that nothing happened.
Right.
But it's very interesting that she's now like, I would like to not be a part of this. And if they're going to subpoena her, like, that's going to be crazy.
I also think it would be wild if, let's just say, she was offended about the nose comment, or she was offended about something that he said that just rubbed her the wrong way, but it wasn't a sexual harassment situation. And they're like, hey, maybe we can just kind of like amp up your feelings here.
Right.
Which is what really everyone's kind of theory is about what Ryan did to Blake. Which is
Totally.
basically like kind of, there's a lot of people who think Ryan just gaslit Blake into feeling sexually harassed by Justin
Right,
Baldoni. Okay,
right.
we need to move on though.
Which
So much to get to.
I think, and this is a little bit out of order, but I think we need to talk about Kagan entering the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So my husband is,
His name is Kagan.
his name is Kagan. He's my wonderful husband. And he is not into celebrity stuff
He is not tuned into this at all. He does not, is not his cup of tea.
whatsoever. He got served a reel though, which I'm going to play. And then I want to share with you guys what he said about it. From a male's brain and perspective, I do think it's very interesting.
Yes. And I love that Kagan is helping the family business by weighing in here.
Finally working on the proverbial family pop culture farm. So this is the clip from the Chicks in the Office that Kagan sent me, that he got served. He better not be a Chicks in the Office listener.
Oh, yeah. If he is, hell to pay.
Hell to pay.
Divorce court.
Doghouse.
This text from Blake Lively is insane.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Like, is that a blowjob joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away, and honestly, weirded out. Weirded out. We're
I
dealing
know.
with a weird motherfucker on our hands because this shit's crazy.
So this is what Kagan says. He says,
He sends you that reel.
he sends me that reel and he said, I think that's all you need to know. Her husband is on a revenge tour. It makes total sense. And I said, you really think Ryan saw that text and thought she was kind of into him? And Kagan says, is that text real? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, then yes, all hell broke loose. And I'm like, wow. He says, I've spent little time on this topic, but I've seen enough now. And I do think it's like so funny. Like, imagine, Chandler, imagine you're married and you send to another man about how your flirty love language is about being ball busty and yummy, but never with tea.
Well, it's a flirty text. I think it's like I'm flirting with you by showing you this is the girl that I am.
But it's also sexual.
And it is sexual.
I think
yeah.
that we honestly, like our conservative Mormon upbringing, sometimes we're a little sheltered and we're like, she just meant it's not biting, it's not mean.
I know that is kind of what my brain thinks.
Yes, that's where our brain grows. But I honestly think like people that are a little more realistic see it for what it is.
Like-
and it's fully a little bit of a come on. It's a
Yeah.
little bit
Flirty.
It's talking about sucking his dick.
Wow. I mean, yeah, maybe. And I think there are other text
Or
messages.
she's saying like, that's my prowess.
Yes.
Never with
And
teeth.
I think-
like that is a flirty thing to say.
Totally, 100%. And I think there is plenty of text messages from her to him that are flirty,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that are dripping with, I'm such a cool, sexy girl.
Right. And don't you want to infuse me into
Yes.
Lily?
Yes.
And I think that, you know, as we've said, like there could have been a part of her that's like, what the fuck? Why is he not
Into me.
into me?
Yeah.
Why is he not into me as allegedly Ben Affleck was, you know? And Ben Affleck was apparently the reason that Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck broke up.
Why is he not into me like Ryan was, you know?
Yes.
Like,
when he was married to Scarlett on the set of
Mhm,
Green Lantern.
I think that could be a very real thing that
Mm.
happened. What else?
We need to talk about the fake paparazzi stunt.
Oh my gosh. I had no clue about this.
I mean, it's just so crazy.
This one is like a little bit more far fetched, but I also could see it fully being true.
I think it's true. So apparently, Ryan Reynolds and team decided that they wanted to get in the press, that he's still beloved, that people still love him. And so he was just pictured walking into a random building and there were all these fans outside with the same, like with these photos strapped to cardboard for him to sign.
Like, and they also, everyone, these are like not just like 8x10 or whatever, like regular copy paper photos. These are like larger. Like it was just a very odd piece of paper for everyone to be holding. You know, it felt very like, here's a big movie poster, sign this. Also, everyone, autographs are a thing of the past.
I was just going to say, we all remember comma, comma, comma.
Yes.
None of those bitches had huge cardboard cutouts or pictures of Anne Hathaway,
Right,
okay,
right.
with markers for her to sign. It's all iPhone, take a selfie with me. mean, that's what people want.
And I think if this was fake, I think autographs are a little bit more like, I love you, I want a piece of you, versus a photo. Because someone could take a photo with Ryan Reynolds and be like, photo with the most hated man on the internet.
Completely.
You know?
Right. That's a good point. Also, apparently, what a lot of these people who want these autographs are, is it's just a business. So they'll figure out where a celebrity is going for a major event. They'll be there for the autograph, and then they'll like sell it on eBay.
Right.
So most celebrities don't even like indulge this at all. They just walk right past it. So this entire like alleged setup by his team that he's just like still so sought after, it's just hilarious.
It's hilarious. Also, it's not even like there's like a recent movie with him, or I don't know. It just feels super weird that it's like right now there's all this like
the Deadpool fans are out
and about. It reminds me though, like didn't Courtney have like a sign, what she thought was a real signed poster from Prince William, like in her bedroom growing up?
Oh, I think she did. Bless her heart.
Bless her little heart.
And if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, or if you're watching this on video, we're gonna have that alleged fake stunt for you to see with your own eyes and make your own judgment.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds gets swarmed by photographers and fans in New York City. You know, I watch this and it just seems normal at first, but the second he comes out, it starts to seem a little off. You know, everyone's got the same exact type of picture. For Wolverine and Deadpool, there's like one R.I.P.D., which who the hell's a fan of that? It was an okay movie. But just something's really weird. It just seems very staged. It just seems like it's not real. Like he should be on the set of a movie or something. It just seems very off. We all know it's really bad for them right now, and he has to save face any way he can, and I get that, but it's giving not real. There's this one part that happens at the very end where he like goes up to a fan and talks to them for a second, but it just seems so badly done. It might just be me looking too hard. That does happen from time to time, but I don't know. Other people are seeing it too. It just seems very, like I said, just completely not real. Ready, here it comes, right here. It gets really weird. The way he's talking to him, the way he's like, the hand movements, everything, it just seems so fake and rehearsed and acted, and I don't know, just not real feeling. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, and follow as always.
We're obviously big fans of Juicy Scoop. We love Heather McDonald. Actually going to her live show in New York on Friday. So excited.
Can't wait.
But what she says, she thinks that the only way for Blake to get out of this is to divorce Ryan and just say, like, I never wanted any part of this. Like, it was his idea. I went along with it. Apologize. But like the only way to get her career back is to divorce her husband.
Yeah, I don't see any world where sticking by Ryan's side does her any good. So that is, very astute.
And she also said what we kind of all think, which is just that they thought that when they filed the complaint, that essentially they would just be able to easily ruin Justin Baldoni's life. And that would be utterly devastating for him and his family and his children. But a blip on their radar screen, and they just keep moving on, having usurped the film.
Literally, you got to crack a lot of eggs to make an omelet.
Exactly. And little did they know, and
are you going to take the omelet joke somewhere else? Because I'm ready for it.
I was going to, like, little did they know flying pans would go flying. But
little did they know this frittata would explode or something like that. Anyway, thanks everyone for bearing with us through that.
Okay. So another piece of this that I would love to get into is what Harvey said on the new TMZ podcast, Two Angry Men. So he was talking to Mark Garagos, and they were just discussing this case in general and a few things that are interesting that I did not know. First, this will not be televised.
The trial will not be televised.
It's a federal trial. It is not a state trial. And the reason why we got the video of Gwyneth's trial and of Johnny Depp's trial is because one was in Utah and one was in Virginia, but this is a federal trial, so it will not be televised. But what they say, there's just no way this will actually go to court. Because if it goes to court, that means that Blake Lively can be deposed. And apparently being deposed in a federal case means that you sit in front of an adversary attorney and you basically, they can ask you anything. They can ask
Brian Friedman can ask her anything
under the sun, and there's no judge to sustain objections. Like the only thing that she won't have to answer is if it's something that's attorney-client privilege.
Why? Why is that? Do you know?
I think maybe federal cases are just like more
serious,
intense.
Yeah. And if it's big enough to where you are getting deposed, like you don't get like a lot of those protections or something.
Well,
I don't
you
know.
always get deposed in a federal case, right? Like that's part of the discovery process.
Yeah.
That's part of like building the case.
And deposed in like any case, like any deposition is just a part of any type of lawsuit.
Right. But what's specific about a federal deposition is that you sit in front of that attorney can ask you anything and it's on camera. And the only...
Wait, I thought it's not on camera.
No.
The deposition, but it's not televised.
It's not televised, but it is on camera. And so I think that's why we have like Trump's deposition.
Right.
You know, those YouTube videos.
Yes.
Like we would see Blake Lively's deposition.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be so crazy is there would just be no objections other than attorney-client privilege. So the only thing that they could not ask her is, what did you tell your attorney?
Yeah, right.
But and other than that, it's like free reign.
Free reign, and that would be incredibly damning for Blake.
I mean, we already have seen Brian Friedman's prowess. Imagine him deposing her. Imagine.
You're getting a little riled up.
I'm even getting anxious over that because a great attorney, they know how to trap people. I don't think Blake Lively would be able to escape his abilities.
Would the same then be true for Justin from Blake's attorney?
Yeah, so Blake's attorney could fully depose Justin.
Yeah, right. So basically what they're saying on this TMZ episode is just like, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. Neither side wants that, but I think especially Blake's side. I think that they actually do want to go to trial. I think that on Justin's side, they do. Their ultimate goal is his vindication.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they believe that Justin could stand to be deposed.
Yeah.
Like they believe that he'd have no problem answering questions sincerely.
Right.
I mean, he's got the medical intuitive, you know.
Wait, it's medical intuitive. Yeah, that's what their name is. Yeah, it's true. And she's been talking to world leaders.
She's been talking to world leaders. They have a connection.
Yeah.
He's talking to Blake's dead father. I think he's got a few more tricks up his sleeve in a federal deposition than Blake would. This is a breathless episode, everyone. Sorry. There's just so much to get into. They also say that there's just so much money at stake for the studios. It would just be absolutely insane. It's just way too big to go to trial. They also say that Blake Lively not only herself doesn't want to get deposed, but if this goes to trial, guess who else gets deposed? Taylor Swift gets deposed.
Yeah.
By Brian Friedman.
We cannot let that happen to our girl. Not because I think she did something wrong. It's just like, she doesn't need that.
She doesn't need that.
Because she's in her season. She should be enjoying Travis. She should be in Kansas City.
Yes. At the pool.
At the pool.
At the mansion.
I don't know, but she just needs to be living a quiet, simple life in Kansas City right now with Travis.
Exactly.
Wait.
She does not need this looming.
Side note, did Travis get hair plugs?
What's interesting is everyone says that, but his hairline looked full. It just looked buzzed before.
Right.
And to me, it just looked like it had grown out.
It had grown out, yeah. Like more on that later. We'll cover that in another episode, but he looks good.
Hair plugs, the way hair plugs work that I'm aware of, it's not like they just like take hair like from a wig basically and just stick it on.
Right.
They like transplant follicles.
So
and
it's like your hairline changes.
Your hairline changes and it has to grow in.
Correct.
So to me, it just looked like his hair grew in.
Yeah. Anyway, we can get into more of that later.
Yes. Thank you for bringing up that very important matter, Chandler.
I was confused. I was curious. And if he did, Love and Light looks great.
Oh, absolutely. Another thing I think that is important to note is that Brian Friedman said that for them, it is not even about money. It's about saving Justin's life. It's about his vindication.
Right.
And what they're saying is that they know that they're like trapped. They know that everyone knows the truth here. And so the only way to get this to end without going to trial is for Justin to be vindicated. So Blake and Ryan are going to have to do something where they make it clear that these allegations were false and they clear Justin's name in the court of public opinion.
What would that even be? I mean, are they sitting down with Diane Sawyer? Are they?
I think that they are going to get in a 15-minute Uber from their Tribeca apartment and sit down with the Papapologists at our studio in Midtown.
We will have you.
With WTF Media Studios. Thank you, everyone. We will have you. Or they can come over to our apartment, even better. And
Bring Taylor.
Bring Taylor. And we're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Remy, Remy's our wonderful engineer. Remy, will you be there? Perfect. All right, you guys, sorry if that seemed a little bit frantic, but we're obsessed with this case. We can't stop.
We can't stop.
And we won't stop.
We won't stop. We will be here every step of the way.
Holding your hand.
Thank you for listening. We love you.
And I'm sure you've noticed half of this series is on our premium feed, and that is for a reason. This podcast is very expensive for us to bring to you. Our just hard costs of this podcast are in the 6 figures annually. That is not even including our time. That is just what we pay to have this podcast made,
To fly this plane.
to have this plane flown. So, and I share that just to say, like, we really appreciate the support, and it just means a lot to us. It really helps us actually bring Pop Apologists to you.
Yes.
So we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And we have a very exciting subscriber episode on Friday. Do you want to share?
It will be everything that happened during my St. Bart's Bachelorette weekend.
It's going to be so fun. We have the one and only Courtney Grow, our wonderful sister and acclaimed influencer, joining us. Okay, it's on video, and we are getting to all that happened on Chan's wild St. Bart's Bachelorette. It's such a fun episode, and we also have hundreds of bonus episodes that you can listen to. All right, and with that,
We love you guys, and we'll be back next week.
bye.